Hi guys, hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Martyna and today I have a very exciting project to share with you. This is something that I have wanted to try for some time now. So you guys may know that the journals that I usually make, the junk journals that I usually make, I make the covers from scratch. So I use bookboard, I use cardboard, I use fabric, I paint them and whatnot. So yeah, basically I make my junk journal covers from scratch. And today I want to show you how I would make a junk journal using an actual old book cover. So this is exciting. So the first thing, I have here a stack of old books, and I want to show you how I would choose a book to work with. And I just pulled some books from my shelf. I haven't made the decision yet, so I hope while I'm taking you through this stack that we can kind of decide together, and I will just feel that, yeah, this is it. So the first thing that I would take into consideration, okay, let me start by saying that you can of course use an old book which is pretty much in a bad shape and fix it. But that's not what I want to do today. I kind of want just to take the cover, make it into journal. I'm feeling a bit lazy like that today. So I'm not going to be choosing like this here. You guys see, this one doesn't even have the front cover. So I could of course take this. I would have to make a new spine. I would have to make a new front cover. So this is probably not what I would choose today. What else do I have here? Okay, so I have this one, and another thing that I would consider or take into consideration when you are choosing a book to make a project like this is the hollow back binding. So you see there is a space here between the binding and the spine, because then we can simply cut here, remove the whole block of text, and then we have our cover. But like I said, I don't want to cover my cover with anything today, or maybe I just want to do a little bit of collaging, we will see. But I don't particularly like this cover, you know, it's a bit too dark for me. It's also not in a greatest shape, so I would definitely have to consider making maybe a new spine or just doing a lot of work to reinforce it, which is a great project. And this is a project for another time, not today, but another time. Maybe this will probably be like a bit more advanced, but today I just want to show you a simple way of making a journal from a book. So here I have this one, which is super old and gorgeous, and I think this is in Latin, and there is a lot of notes here. So I love using these book pages for when I'm making ephemera, and it also has the hollow spine binding, and I love this cover. It's so, I don't know, Italian, like 1800s Italian, I feel. I love it. It is a little bit roughed up here, as you can see, but I think with just enough TLC, I guess we could make it work. So yeah, we would have to varnish this pretty heavily, but this is definitely an option. Then I have this one, and again, hollow spine, but again, I'm not so keen on the cover, not so keen, and there's definitely the spine. It's just so dirty. I love this book so much. So this is like a French like a bind up of some magazines, I guess, or some magazine articles in this book. This has a beautiful page color. It's all in French. I love this book. You guys have seen me using pages from this book a lot, but yeah, I don't know. So then I have this one, and first of all, the spine is pretty much loose like this, so I would have to use the covers to make a new spine. And while I love the back, not sure if you can see, this is embossed. The front I think, judging on the contents of this is like a book about hunting, which I am not fond of, so I would definitely want to cover it up, which again, oh, this is pretty. There is some wildlife here, but this again is not something that I want to do today. This is a project for another day. Then I have these two, and these are kind of the best, are in the best shape from this lot. So again, hidden, not hidden, hollow back binding. And I love this. Not sure if you can see, but there is some ferns embossed here, and this is a kind of like a sticker, but it looks like wood. And I also like this spine. It's a little bit dirty, but it says the Reader's Digest Complete Library of the Garden, and it has a really nice image here, and the back is just simple like that. So this would be awesome if we wanted to do some collaging, which I am definitely considering. So, but then I was browsing through my old books and I found this one, and I don't know, you guys, there is something so serene for me about this scene on this cover, and we wouldn't even have to do like a lot decorating, and there is some like impressions of old tape. This is, I think, yes, this was Aberdeen Public Library, so this is a library copy, and I've used a lot of pages from this because I like the color, I like that they're a bit thicker, and also they are just about nature, and there are some pretty colored images. So this book is called The Shell Country Book, and I even love the spine, and it's kind of in a good condition. There is some like wear and tear here, but other than that, I think we could make something pretty with this. So do I prefer, I have three options here, and I think I'm going to go with this one today. Just thinking, I would definitely want to make a journal from this and try to collaging all over the front, and maybe using some mixed media, some gesso, some texture paste. But again, feeling lazy today. This is supposed to be a very simple project. So I'm going to put these aside. Okay, so we are left with this one, and I love it. I'm already inspired. I can already see a cute junk journal made with this cover. This is such a nice size. Let me perhaps tell you what size it is. So in inches it is 8 by 5, and in centimeters it is about 20.5 by about 12, and the spine is 4 centimeters, or 1.5 inches. So I just love this size. So the first thing we have to do is to remove the text block from the cover, so that we are left with the cover. And to do that, I'm going to use my scalpel, my what is it, craft knife, I guess. And I am just going to go here. As you can see, this is where this end page connects to this one and to the whole text block. And I would just go here quite carefully because I don't want to destroy my spine. And I'm going to cut through. Sorry, you probably can't see, but here's what I'm doing, just cutting my text block. And this one, don't worry about this. We are going to clean this up in a moment, and we have a nice spine in a rather good condition, which I love. And then the other side, so I'm just going to turn this around. This is bit more comfortable for me. I'm sorry, I am going to make this way. I'm going to have it standing up. This is kind of how it's easier for me to position my knife. Hope you can see at least a little bit. Now I am going to be making new end pages, so So I'm also not too worried if I don't preserve these end papers in the best condition. Okay, that should be good. Now, as you can see, we can remove the whole block. We see our signatures nicely glued here to the binding. And we are left with the cover which is going to become our journal. So now what I would do is I would take a pair of scissors and I would go here and clean this edge, or both edges, with my scissors, trying to be careful not to cut through the spine. We could fix it, but we are going for an easy project today, so let's make things easier for ourselves, but by not cutting through the spine. Okay. Just cleaning the little bits here. I like it. I already like it. So you guys, the next step is what I would do. I think I'm going to clean a little bit more of this because again we are going to be covering this up and I just don't want it to be sticking out. Okay, that's better. So the next step would be to reinforce the spine. So if you have this what's it called, Tyvek, I think, tape, that would be perfect. I would just put it here along the spine and along somewhere here, you know, so that you can reinforce this and this here. But I don't have Tyvek, so I have this Amazon packaging. This is like this big Amazon envelope, and I thought I could cut out a piece of it and use it as my reinforcement. So I'm first going to cut this envelope open. I'm cutting it on those three sides. So here, let's perhaps make it a bit shorter and easier. Here. So I never can bring myself to simply throw away those Amazon packagings because you can do so many things with them. Okay, so I'm going to use this. Now I want to measure the size that I want. So I want my spine reinforcer to be slightly shorter, maybe like 1/4 of an inch shorter on each side, top and bottom, than my cover. So I'm going to go, I think, with 18.5 tall, 18.5 by, and I want it to cover quite a piece here, so we are safe. So 11 centimeters, I'm thinking. So I will show you in a moment what I mean. So let me cut it maybe at about 11, or this is like I'm cutting at 4.5 4.5 inches. So that's it. And then I said 18.5, which is about 7.25 inches. And we will see if this works for us. Yes, I think it's nice. We are going to be probably adding some fabric to those end pages, but as you can see, it just covers most of it. I want it to cover most of these two creases, most of the spine. This is great. And now I am positioning it, and to make gluing, because this is cardstock, you know, it's a little bit stiff. So to make it easier to glue it here, I'm just going to close my cover here, and to make those creases. And then here, this step is going to make our cover a little bit stiffer. So now it's so flimsy, it's going to be a little bit stiffer, but you know, I prefer it this way because at least I know that it is safe. So let me grab a glue. Okay, so I have my magic glue here. This is a glue that I'm using, and this is a Polish brand, but I think this magic puzzle glue that you can find it perhaps on Amazon as well. So I would use a glue that you will be kind of sure it will hold, and I'm just adding it here generously because it's not going to seep through our packaging, Amazon packaging. And if you have a tape, then of course this is so much easier because you just glue it down. And again, I'm not worried about covering this up. I'm a bit sad about covering this up, but I want to make my own end papers, so that's what I'm going to do. And here I'm just going to add some glue as well to those places where I feel it's most important that it is. So the creases, the edges. I'm very excited about this journal. I'm actually planning to use it for, so you guys know, or I don't know if you know, but I use my junk journals usually for memory keeping, and this has been working great for me. I love creative memory keeping. Now I'm just going to hold it in place for a long while to let it, to make sure that it dries. So, oh, and I can also use my bone folder, kind of help me, especially with those creases. I like that. So what I was saying, oh yes, I use my junk journals usually for memory keeping. And so I add ephemera from my own life, I add photos, and a journal about what happened. Some big things, some small things. I love it. But I was thinking with this journal, I could maybe dab a little bit more into collage journals. So we would be making kind of like collagey spreads. So this would be perhaps not for memory keeping, although I love to add writing in my journals. So like I always handwrite something, and I like the look of it, even though I'm not super fond of my own handwriting. I think I just love, I've always been a journaler, you know, I've always kept a journal ever since, like a writing journal, ever since I can remember. So I just can't imagine not writing in a journal. I love it too much. This relaxes me, calms down my mind. I've read once that writing, like journaling, can be a form of meditation, and it's definitely like that for me. Okay, we can try very carefully to lift it up. And as you can see, I'm going very slowly, and I'm kind of holding it all the way down here because I don't want it to come off, you know, when the glue is not yet completely dry. So I was thinking with this journal, maybe I will do some journaling, but basically the spread is not going to be like constructed of my photos and my ephemera. Let's see how it looks. Or I just give it another moment here. So not my photos and ephemera, but rather maybe vintage elements, maybe book pages, maybe some vintage ephemera, because I have a lot of it, some stickers. And I also want to challenge myself, because you guys know I love my colors. I love my colors. My junk journal is very colorful. This is something I love. I also love mixing vintage and colorful. This is kind of my style, I think. But what I want to do here, I want to make this journal more vintage than my other journals. Okay, can you see, guys? It is glued here perfectly. and here as well. I'm just checking if, hopefully you can see, if it is here in the crease, here, if it's not coming off, because if it is, that's all good. We can come back, add more glue. This is an important step because of course you want your journal to last a longer time. So it's good to take your time, make sure everything is glued. I'm going with this, but you can use a ruler if you don't have a bone folder and just kind of go into these creases. Push down your cardstock or your tape, whatever you are using to reinforce this, and really make sure that it is stuck down there. Okay, so now this is a lot stiffer, it's not as flimsy, and this is prepared for us to add our signatures, which is super cool. Now, I'm wondering, do I want to do anything to this front cover? So you guys, first of all, if you have a journal that requires some cover, I mean, that requires some working on, so like this one here, when the edges are kind of fraying and there is a lot of wear and tear on this cover, I would go over it with some kind of a varnish. So what I use often for varnishing my journals is just a regular matte Mod Podge. I like it, it works, it does its job, it's readily available, but I've used some other just matte varnishes, and I would go with my brush, especially, probably I would add a few coats, especially to those places with the visible wear and tear. I have some wearing here, but I'm not sure I'm actually bothered by it, because now when we reinforce our spine, even if this frays a little bit more, this is still reinforced just a 1/4 of an inch below, so this is not, you know, it's not going anywhere. So I don't think I'm going to do that today. But what I'm thinking is, do I want to add maybe a label to this cover? Let me check, because I don't want to cover up this image, but I think maybe like a little label would be nice. So here's my ephemera holder that we made together. The video for this is always in the description box. So let's see if I have anything here. So I've spent one morning, a few hours to going through all of my labels and kind of making them just more organized, because they really needed it. I'm not sure about this. How about, I don't know what I'm looking for, you know. So this is kind of something that makes it difficult. It's me not knowing what I'm looking for. Oh, it would look nice. This is from Tracie, and we could have it here or perhaps somewhere here. I would like to just add a little title. I like it. Okay, let's keep looking. Maybe we will find something else that we like, that matches the colors. No. How about this one? Oh, I love this one. Yeah, I think I like it more for some reason. And I'm thinking I could add 4 brads to the corners here, which would kind of keep it in place. And then we would, of course, cover them up with our end paper. Yeah, maybe. Let's see what else I have here. I have these, but these are too white. And I have these are very pretty, but they are like washy paper labels, so I would have to use them with some other paper underneath. So let's see if we like any of them. I like it, but it's slightly too big. And I have this one. This is pretty, actually. I may try this one as well. I may just stick it to a piece of what would I want it on? Maybe, oh, maybe like tea stained cardstock, and we will see. Okay, what else do I have here? I have these, which are nice, but then with the images I don't have a lot of space to write my title, and I would like to title this journal somehow. This is nice as well, with the 2 brads. I would add 2 brads here and add my title here. Okay, this is an option. How about, oh no, this is too big. That's the problem with having too many choices. I like this one too. Okay. Maybe I should just stop looking through this, and I have some pockets here which still need to be filled. Okay, so I think we have enough choices to make this difficult. Let me grab a cardstock. I have a piece of tea stained cardstock here, so I'm going to glue this label there to give it a first shot, you know, in this choosing process, and even in a place where we have a little bit distressing. So yes, like that. And because I want to add my label with like attach it to the cover with metal brads, that's why I am doing this now and not after I add my end pages, because I want my end pages, whatever they may be, to cover the backs of the metal brads. And if you are not sure what I'm talking about, I will show you guys in just a second. I just need to choose which label I want, and I think, just out of a fear of messing up, I think I'm going to write my title first, and then, okay, so let's see our choices. I wish you guys could help me. So we have this one. Ooh, and I like it now. I just think it's a bit big. I don't know. This one. We have this Tracie one, which honestly I think I still like best. And then we have this one. No, okay. I love these. I love you guys. But I'm going to put you aside for now. So let me see. This one goes back there. And this one goes here. So Tracie Fox labels are my favorite labels to use, and they are linked in the description box for you if you would like to check her shop. Her shop is called Love Junk Journals. So I'm just going to even this out a little bit and maybe make it just a tad bit thinner. I still don't want it to take up too much space on the cover. So this goes to the bin. Now I am going to take my vintage photo to just make sure there's no white edge anywhere. And I'm also going over this lighter part here to add a bit more distressing to it, because it will match nicely with those with those tape imprints. Okay, now you guys, I was thinking about perhaps naming this journal Nature Musings. What do you guys think? I love this cover, and I'm also thinking I want to go with like a nature botanical theme for my collages. So I'm going to attempt to do it on camera. Nature musings. A bit wonky, but it's my journal. It's my handwriting, so I'm just going to have to go with it, you know. Nature musings. Maybe we'll actually make it in like a faux calligraphy. So if you guys don't know, you can make any type of font, even your handwriting, look like calligraphy if you just make the down strokes of your letters a bit thicker. And so I like to do it especially when I am in like writing in such a small format, because I'm not very skilled with a brush pen, especially when I'm writing this small. So this just gives another interest, or it gives interest to your handwriting, and it kind of, for me, makes it looks better, at least with, you know, with my handwriting. Okay, I like it. Now here is what I'm planning to do with it. I have my metal brads here. So these are the metal brads that I'm going to be using, and I'm going to take 4 of them. Do I want 4 or do I want 2? No, 4. I am also going to take my little pokey book. This is just a very old book that I got in a second-hand store, and it was kind of falling apart, so I'm using it to poke holes. But because I am now going all the way through, I don't want to poke my desk, so I'm going to put a thick cardboard underneath. I'm going to position it the way I want it. So I think maybe a bit more like this. I'm kind of looking in the camera. Okay, let me see where I want it. This way it's easier. Maybe like this, kind of overlapping the water. Yeah, I like it. So I think when you have a label like this, or you know, anything that you are adding to a like an already busy cover, to just make this one thing blend in, it's nice to overlap it with other elements. Okay, so I'm taking my awl. I'm going to make 4 holes in the corners of this label. They don't have to be very deep or very big, just enough for my brads to go through. Okay, and I'm purposely not making those holes in a frame here, but in the actual label, like writing space, because I think it would look nicer with the brads. Okay, now I can hope that it will work. See how nice it is, how they just add so much with so little effort. This is my favorite type of things to add. So things that don't require a lot of effort but give you so much. Okay, and I think I'm going to start with those 2. So I'm using my awl again to open them, and then just using my fingers like that. See, this is what they look like, and we are going to be covering them up, and this is so far what this looks like. So the other 2, which I hope are aligned all right, I think they are, which is good. Yep, awesome. Now this one is a little bit wonky, but I don't mind it at all. So this journal is kind of going to also be a journal for me to sort of stop with the perfectionism, you know. I was chatting in the comments with one subscriber just, I think this morning or a few days ago, about how overthinking things make you just, here's how it looks like. It just, to prepare a journal collection for sale, it takes me months sometimes, you guys. It's just because I can't leave imperfections as they are, you know. I have to do something with them. So I'm going to be, of course, I'm selling my journals, so I want them to be perfect. But with this journal, no, I am going to embrace imperfect, and I hope you will too. I hope you will join me. Alrighty, now the inside cover. So I need a piece for the spine and I need a piece for end pages. And you guys, for the spine, I was thinking we could use fabric. And I was going through my fabric stash and I found a few pieces of this pretty fabric. So I think I made a journal a long time ago using this. And I think I would love to use it here to cover my spine. And of course, you know, this fabric is kind of going this way, the pattern, the writing and all. So it's, ooh, but I have this one. So I was going to say it would be sideways, but then I see this. So perhaps we could make this work. And do I have one more piece here? Ooh, and I love this flower. And what does it say here? High quality printed textile. How about that? This flower here would be so awesome. So then I was thinking I would add my my end pages below this, so this would be on top. But then I was thinking again I would cover these creases with some lace, so this wouldn't even be visible. And I love this flower so much. So yep, here it is. I hope this is not too short, but it shouldn't be. It's okay. So I have this many fabric, or this much fabric, sorry, here, like below the crease, and the same on this side. So now for the end pages. Now I was thinking, what are they? Oh, I have some wrapping papers that I thought we could use. And some of them were gifted to me. These were actually from some journals I was packing, and I've saved the scraps to use them. And so let me see if these actually may be too colorful. So these would be perfect for a regular Martyna journal. But for this one with more neutral colors, more vintage look, I don't think these are going to work as well. Although, oh, I love this. This one I actually love. I think because it's the soft pastel vintage, it would work awesome with a vintage style. Now I also have a piece of this, but no, this is too light. And I have this awesome book which was very kindly gifted to me, which says Art Nouveau, Textiles Gift and Creative Papers. So I'm thinking we will definitely find something here. And I already love this first one. What else? This one is maybe a bit busy. And this is gorgeous as well. Ooh, this is nice because it kind of picks up the red from the rose. This is nice as well. Oh, this is a hard choice, you guys. I like this one as well, but still I'm kind of drawn to this because first of all the rose, and secondly there is this same color as we have in the background here in this rose. So I think I'm going to go with this one. And these we will definitely use. Maybe I will actually make some pages for this journal using these. Look at this, you guys. Wouldn't it be like the coolest journal page? And it's nice. It's a nice cream color on the other side. So I'm definitely going to be using them in this journal. So let's see. What I would do is I would first measure how tall and wide my end pages have to be, and I want them to cover these ones completely, so I'm just going to make them slightly larger, and I am going to need to write it down, because like with measurements I measure and I immediately forget everything. So I'm going to make them 20 centimeters tall, and this in inches is going to be just short, or just a little bit more than 8 1/4. And then wide. Now with how wide I want them to be, I don't want them to go straight to this crease, because then they would curl up. I want them slightly, maybe like, you know, here somewhere, so our crease is here and I want them here. So let's measure this, and this is just short of, so more than 11.5, so let's say 11 and 7 centimeters. That's, I think, safe. And in inches with my cover, that would be again a little bit more than 4.5. So let's attempt to cut this big piece of wrapping paper. So what do I do it? Which way? I think I'm first going to go with, I'm going to first cut off this bit here, because this is torn, and this of course is going to my scraps stash. I'm going to cut these two halves apart so I can use them separately. Now I have this, so we want 11, just short of 12. I hope I measured it correctly. Just let me see. Yeah, you can see it's perfect. And we are going to have a lace piece going here, and then I want 20 centimeters. Oh, but okay, I can cut it here. I was just wondering which part of the design I want to keep, but all of it is very beautiful. So here is my end page, one of them at least, and the second one. And I want to even up this edge, and then let's go with height first this time. So we have 20 centimeters, and 11 and 7, so just short of 12. I love this wrapping paper so much. It's definitely not the cheapest one, but I think it's so worth it. Okay, so we would have our end pages, and I love them so much. And then we would have, where's this piece that I want to use? It is here. We would have this in the middle, and I think it's just gorgeous. And then this will be covered with some lace or some trim, something like that. So I don't think I'm going to do much work here. I can even it out, but yes. Now, because this is rather thin, my brads are going to be kind of, you will be able to feel them, and I'm wondering, do I mind? You could glue those two, you could glue those two, sorry guys, I'm just thinking, you could glue those on top of some cardstock to make them sturdier. And you know what, I think I'm going to do it just because I have cardstock here already, and it should, yeah, it should fit those two. So you know what, here's a tip. So if you have a paper which you are not sure how it will react with glue, if the glue won't seep through, I would just say use a scrap piece like this, use my wet glue as I would on those end pages, glue it, and just observe how it behaves. Because you know, sometimes you feel like you have a nice thick paper and then your glue is still visible. Yeah, it is showing here, so I wouldn't want that. So what I'm going to use actually is my glue stick. Then I'm going to cut around, and I think I will take this to my sewing machine to stitch around so that my end pages have a little bit more texture, and also they are securely glued to this cardstock, and then I can add a lot of wet glue to this cardstock to glue it to the cover. So that works. That will work nicely. And then glue stick is of course invisible under this paper, which is great because I can see it seeping through. I think you can see it too. Not much of course, but I know it would bother me, and I know we said enough with the perfectionism, but some things I just wouldn't be able to have in my journal. I wouldn't be able to enjoy looking at my journal if I had end pages like this with the glue sipped. So I'm going to glue them to this cardstock first, cut around them, stitch around them, and then safely glue them with a lot of wet glue onto my cover. Okay, now you guys know me, and you know my obsession with my gold gilded edges. So while I'm doing this, my mind just whispers to me, how about we add some gold to the edges of these papers as well? And I think I'm going to do it. Yeah. Thank you so much, you guys, for the amazing support on my video on Thursday, where I shared with you guys the exciting news of my Patreon. So I'm filming this on Friday, so because I'm going to see my mom on Saturday, so I would not be able to film or edit this video on Saturday. But when I woke up today, I had 50 patrons, and this is beyond, I am honestly, it was beyond my wildest dreams. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for your amazing support. I am so excited about this new project, this new step in my creative career. And if you guys would like to check my Patreon, if you haven't perhaps seen that video, the link is in the description box and you can see what this is all about. Okay, I like this. So I'm thinking I'm first going to go around with my ink, just to add a little bit more vintagey look, and then I will stitch, and then at the end I will add the gold. Oh, I love it. Look how it brings it to life and how more vintagey this one looks. I love it. I love inking. I think my My inking tool and my ink Distress Oxide in Vintage Photo are two of the most used things in my craft room, and I also just enjoy this activity of inking around edges so much. I find it so relaxing. I was not sure about it, but you guys maybe remember I did those journals. I did a collection of journals which all had hand-torn edges and inked edges, and I was inking for like 2 days non-stop, and I just found it to be so relaxing. Okay guys, so now I am going to stop the camera, bring it to my sewing machine and just stitch, I think with just a straight stitch, to add a little bit more to this. Yeah, I will be right back. Okay, all is stitched. I love how they look. Now I have this tiniest little bit of my favorite gilding wax. This is Gold Pasta, pure gold, color pure gold from Renaissance, and I hope, this is a Polish brand, and I hope I can squeeze the last bits of it for this journal. I think we should be all good. So if you guys haven't seen me do this before, I just add a little bit of gilding wax or gilding paste, whatever you have, to my fingers, and I just go around my edges this way. I have a nice uneven, messy look. And I definitely prefer it this way. However, if you do not like the messiness, you don't like to get your fingers messy, or you don't like your project to look messily, you could also use maybe like an ink, please, just one last bit. You could also use maybe an ink dauber, a makeup sponge, a brush. So whatever you feel comfortable using and whatever you have in hand. But I've always been doing it with my fingers, and yeah, that's my preferred way. Okay, like that. Awesome. Now I'm going to attempt to clear this from my desk. And I'm glad we actually attached these to the backing paper, because they are now so much sturdier, and they will very nicely cover our brads. You will still be able to faintly feel them kind of with your fingers, but I am not worried at all. Now I'm actually thinking, you guys, how about I add this fabric underneath, and then I would not, I know I wanted to cover this up, but this makes so much more sense. So scratch what I said about adding the fabric on top. I'm going to add it here. So now I just need to cut a piece that I like, and I'm thinking, do I want this rose kind of on the top or perhaps on the bottom, maybe like this. So I'm going to cut a piece here, and this one is going to be visible, so I want it straight but also a bit frayed. A bit more perhaps. So I'm just picking those loose threads, you know, and just making my edge fray a little bit, because I like this look. Awesome. And now let's see, this is going to be like this, so I need to cut somewhere along here. Now if this is a little bit shorter or longer, we are not going to be worried about it. We are not perfectionists today. Well, at least that's what I'm telling myself. Does anyone else struggle with this? Does anyone else struggle with perfectionism and overthinking things? Do let me know in the comments. I would love to know, you guys. Okay, this is nice, but I'm thinking just a tad bit too long, so I'm actually going to cut off this edge that I just frayed, because I think this is the perfect amount that was sticking out, and I'm going to fray it again. Still, I'm thinking of adding some lace or some trim to the edge, but maybe we will see. Maybe we'll like it so much that we won't want to add anything. And now, you guys, one last thing that I'm going to do before I glue everything down is I'm going to take my gold paste again, and I'm going to go around these edges here, because these are going to be visible from underneath my fabric. I'll show you what I mean. I just want to add gold so that we will have nice gold peeking through our fabric and also through our end pages. Okay, especially here on the spine, because it's not the prettiest, you know, it's a little bit worn. So I do want to be more generous with my gold paste there. Gilding. This is another very relaxing thing to do. Maybe a little bit more here. Awesome. So now finally I can go ahead and glue these down, and I'm going to start with fabric. And so I'm adding my glue to the spine and to a little bit over the spine. But because this is fabric, I am going to smoosh it with my finger, and you can definitely do it with a brush, a paint brush, but I'm just too lazy to like go and wash my brush straight after I do it, so I'm doing it with my fingers. So much easier to clean. It's a lazy Friday today for me, you guys, and I hope you can have an easy Sunday when this video comes up, and have an easy crafting, have an easy and lazy crafty session with me. Making sure again that this is all stuck here properly. So of course this is going to be like a little series. We are not going to be able to complete this journal. I think we will just stop with making, I'm sorry you guys, with making the cover today, and then we will probably on Monday we will do the signatures, the papers. Okay, just making sure again this is glued here, so you can see we have a little bit of it sticking out. So I'm just going back with my glue, adding it here and a little bit here as well, just to be sure. Okay, let me clean my fingers from this glue, and then we can check if this worked. Yep, perfect, awesome. So now the end pages, and I think I want to go with this kind of way, so this one on the right. And again, I'm doing everything with my magic glue. This glue it really is magic, you know. This is like, I'm not proud of a lot of Polish things or things about Poland, like especially with our political situation right now and all that, but this glue, which I believe is a Polish product, I am so proud of. It is so good. It glues fabric, it glues paper, it sticks to everything. It's just perfect. So trying to align it where I want it. Maybe a little bit more to this side. Awesome. I love it. I'm glad I've saved this piece. Well, it was a huge piece. Of course, I would have saved it. I'm so glad I found it now in this mess that I am having in my room right now. And I was able to use it for this project. Yes, so in the next video we are going to choose papers. I'm going to show you what types of papers I would choose for a journal like this. I'm just trying to see if this is not too close, but it is not. I think it's gorgeous. And this glue, thankfully, it dries clear, so even if it is visible here somewhere on the edges, it will disappear. Okay, and I mean, you can barely feel that there are some brads here. And then this one, I love it so much. I don't know if I'm going to be able to cover the edge with some lace, but we will definitely give it a try. We will see if we like it, and if we don't, we won't. This is such a fun project. I cannot wait to complete this journal in the next video, to start journaling in it. I'm very inspired. Okay, just here, making sure it's where I want to be. I can actually put it on this side. So I need to make sure this side is glued down well, because it seems to me that this corner is sticking up. Guys, I love how it looks, and I love this fabric on the spine. Really nice. So now let me perhaps take my little box, which is overflowing with stuff, with scraps, and I have this lace. So I was thinking of using this one actually. So let me cut a piece kind of the length that I need, and let's see how it looks. So if you have this kind of adhesive lace, like a lace tape, that would be even better. Oof, okay. Now I think I might actually go for it, and I may glue it this way, so there is just a sliver of gold here. Let me see. I prefer to have bigger pieces now, so I can cut them to the size and not have too little of lace. Yeah, but I love it, you guys. I think lace just goes so well here. Okay, so I'm going to clean this edge to cut it nicely and straight. And then where do I want to cut this one? Somewhere here again. If it's a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, it's going to be okay. Yeah. And about here. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that should be okay. And of course, guess what? Using my magic glue and my finger to smoosh it, of course, to adhere it. to the edge here. This way, this way. I love it. I love it. It's so cute. It's so kind of shabby chic, isn't it? With this paper and then now lace. So maybe we will go for like a vintage shabby chic theme in this when we choose our paper and when we work in this journal. So I'm of course going to be sharing the processes with you guys, because you know I like to experiment on camera, and this is going to be an experiment for me because I'm used to memory keeping in my journal, but I'm not used to just making spreads for the sake of making spreads. I think it's going to be super exciting. Okay, now I have this little bit sticking out, and this one I am going to cut off because I just wouldn't want it to tear more, you know. I want it stuck nicely at the edges. Okay, what do you guys think? Isn't it the cutest little cover ever? I think it is. I love it so much. Now, what I have in mind for the front cover, just one more thing that of course came to my mind, is gold. So I'm going to use up probably the rest of this, but I really want to add gold. It wouldn't be a journal cover of mine, whether handmade from scratch or not, if it did not have gold on it, gold edges. So I'm going over all the edges and I'm adding a little bit more in the corners. I like this look, like the look of it. And the spine. I hope I have enough of this gold paste. I have another one, but it's a slightly different color because it's from a different brand. So this would this might look a little bit strange if I start using a different color all of a sudden, although we are not perfectionists today, so that would have to be okay. Oh, that's going to be so much fun. Alrighty, one last side, and I think I'm safe to say I have enough to go around all the edges. There's some gold here already, which I don't know where it came from. I usually have some gold on my desk or on my fingers, so I probably touched it with my fingers, gold fingers or something like that. Again, adding a little bit more in the corners. And here it is. Oh, look at how pretty it is now in the spine. I really love it. Okay, and one last thing that came to my mind would actually be to add some metal corners. Now, I don't know if I have any. That might be a problem, or, well, I have some. I don't know if I have any I like. Oh, I should have, actually. So, my options are, first of all, I have this little box with these ones. So these are like ornamental corners. They are not for protection, but you can glue them to the cover and they look pretty. And I love it, but oops, but I'm not sure, aren't they too big? Aren't they taking a bit much space on this cover? No, I think I'm going to go for regular metal corners this time. So I have these ones, and also I have these. These of course are huge, although maybe they are not too huge. Maybe they are. So I'm actually thinking, yes, I'm going to go with these. These are nice, small, but they are going to be visible. These are the ones that I'm choosing, and I get my metal corners either on AliExpress or in local like craft stores online. Okay, so what I need for this, I'm just looking for my little tool. Oh yeah, here it is. I'm using this, so this is like for jewelry making, but I'm using this to open these corners up, because of course this way they are not going to fit on to the corners of my book. These corners are quite thick. Oh, I love it, so cute. And I just want to make sure, yeah, exactly, that I am going over my end page here. So just going to fiddle a little bit around, a little bit with it, because I want to make sure my corners protect the corners of the cover, but also of the end papers as well. Okay, yeah, this should be perfect. And then I'm taking these, not sure what they are called in English, and I am just going to lightly close my corners around here, make sure they are kind of aligned with the cover, making sure they are closed all around here. And see, this is what this corner looks like on this side and on this side, and I love it. I think it's perfect, the perfect size to just, you know, to just add a little embellishment but not take away from the cover. Let's see for the second one. For the second one, again, I'm trying to be careful with the end page here. Okay, that worked. So I can now close it. And I'm using a mixture of this tool. Is it thongs? No, I don't think so. Is it pliers? And a mixture of this and my fingers to make sure the corner is in place. And I'm closing around it. And I'm also not trying to be like too hard on those corners, because this metal is very soft. So if I went like all the way with this, it would make like indents in the metal, and it would not look super attractive. So now this one, and while I'm doing this, I'm wondering, but this would probably be for the next episode, but I'm wondering, do we want to add some charms to this journal? I would have to figure out a way to do it, but I do love my charms on my journals. Maybe I would show you guys like the easiest way of adding charms. Yeah, I think that would work with this journal. Awesome. And the last one, I love this back cover. This is just, I want to be there, you know. I feel like I want to be there. It seems like a spring park of some sorts. There are some swallows. Oh my goodness, I can't speak in English today. These are the joys of being like having English as your second language, not your first one. But I know you guys know what I mean most of the time, and that's okay. That's enough. Well, that has to be enough, at least. Okay. Awesome. You guys, I think we are done with the cover. So just one last look, and like I mentioned in the next episode, so probably on Monday, we are going to be making pages for this. We are going to be sewing the signatures. We are going to be maybe adding some charms, maybe. But yes, so this is how this cover, Nature Musings. Musings turned out. I love it. I love the gold, of course, the corners, and here is our cute inside cover. Yeah, so do make sure you are subscribed if you want to see the other part of this process, and that you have this notification bell clicked so you know when I post the next video. And thank you so much for crafting with me today, guys. I wish you a wonderful weekend, and I will speak to you very, very soon. Bye.